Is the screen visible? Okay. Fine. It's already time, and 35 of them are on board, so we can just start, I feel. Um, so we have with us 30 minutes. Okay, so we'll try and make use of it in a better way. Today I was a bit delayed in sending the link, but I decided that from tomorrow I send it at least half an hour before, so that all of you all can join in and be ready. Okay, so let us start. Yesterday we were discussing about questioning, isn't it? It is a part of Unit 3 and sub-unit 3.1 we were discussing, wherein we saw what is questioning, why it is important, where it can be placed, and in the lecture, how it can be used as an important tool, its functions or its purposes of asking questions. Okay, what are the purpose of asking questions in a science classroom, or how it can be functioned. Okay, I'm admitting some of them still. Okay, fine. We are 37. Um, so we have seen the functions and purposes of asking questions in a science classroom. I think we were done with this. So let us start. Let us start with the next slide. Okay. So today we will see while framing questions, we must distinguish two broad kinds of questions. So when we talk about questions, they are categorized into two types. Okay. So which are those two types? Let us see here. And this understanding of what kind of a questions, how questions can be distinguished, it can help us a lot while framing questions or while using them for the exam or maybe for a regular use in the classroom. So now all of you all are aware, as we have discussed already earlier, that there is something called revised Bloom's taxonomy, and each and every term which is being used in the taxonomy is very important, not only for the concept of questioning, but also for the entire education process, because we are moving from something called lower order to higher order thinking, or lower order understanding to higher order understanding. So there are various ways by which they are categorized, and if you have an understanding of that revised Bloom's taxonomy, it will basically help you understand this particular concept in a better way, and it actually provides you a clear picture of how we categorize our thinking process, or how we can categorize our thinking process, and how we can make other person think either in a lower order thinking level or higher order thinking level. Okay, so let us see these two categories. So here they are. We have two categories, as I said, of questions. The first category is lower order cognitive questions, and the second category is higher order cognitive questions. Okay, am I audible? Can't see any slide, Debbie. I think you need to print on the screen which I'm sharing. Debbie, are you able to see the slide? Okay, okay, fine. Okay, so we have two kind of questions as we already discussed, lower order and higher order question. Now, if you see, let us start with lower order questions. Okay, if you see in the bracket here, I have written something called testing knowledge. So it is very much clear that when you use lower order cognitive questions, they are usually used for testing knowledge, or how much the students know. If you want to test them, how much they have understood, or how much they have learned, what you have taught, or through the activity that you have conducted. You can go for lower order questions. Okay, so which are the questions that are a part of lower order thinking or LOTs? Okay, so the first one is recall time. Okay, recall time. The second one is understanding time. Third one is application. Okay, this last two things, like closed question and open question, we'll discuss about it in detail after we categorize both on the basis of first three sections. Now, when you talk about recall kind of a questions, it will include questions which will help or which will expect student to recall or something, maybe a definition, maybe an example. Okay, we'll discuss each of these in detail in the upcoming slides. I'm just giving you all an introduction. Understanding is a question which will make you aware how much the student has understood or uh, how much of the concept is being comprehended properly by the student. So a question like that which checks an understanding level is also a lower order cognitive question. And if we go to the third type, that is application. Now, usually when we usually discuss, like when we say we need to ask students to apply their mind, it's always important that we ask applicative kind of a question so that we know how much we have learned. But if you go to see here, it is still a lower order cognitive question. Okay, being able to use the knowledge somewhere else, okay, for which say suppose I know that chlorophyll is a pigment which is present in which colored leaves is a question for your chlorophyll pigment. Which kind of what like which leaves you find green leaves, isn't it? Exactly. So now when this is the knowledge that each one of us have. Okay. Now when I have to use this knowledge somewhere else, so if I am asking a question related to this understanding of this concept, and I want my students to use this concept in a place, okay, where anybody would hardly even think, like say suppose if I am asking a question like if green color pigment, if a chlorophyll pigment is present in a green colored leaf, okay, which pigment do you find in a red color leaf? Okay, something like that. Applicative question. They are using their knowledge, so they will have to link. They will have to apply their knowledge to some other situation which is not familiar to the one in which they have studied the particular concept. Okay, this is an applicative question. So although we talk about application, applicative questions, even today, it is still not a higher order thinking question. Okay, it is not a higher order cognitive question. It is still a lower order cognitive question. So we know that in lower order we have three sections: recall, understanding, and application. This is very important for each one of us to know. Now let us move to higher order cognitive questions. So when we talk about higher order cognitive questions, we have analysis, then evaluation, and creation. So when we talk about analysis, what is analysis? What kind of a questions will come in analysis? The kind of questions you can ask in evaluation. What kind of a question can be asked in creation? Creation or yes, the topmost category in the revised Bloom's taxonomy is what we are going to see in the upcoming slides. So for this, for your this particular chart or this particular diagrammatic representation, or will help you understand how the questions are categorized into two sections, that is lower order and higher order question. Now, here you can see that questioning should be done according to the various level of cognitive domain of Bloom's taxonomy. Yes, but hardly this particular taxonomy or this revised Bloom's taxonomy is used consciously. Although we might use it unconsciously, as in we are using it in a way, but we are not very strict with it. We use it as and when it is required. But if at all it is used consciously, with conscious efforts, it can make a lot of difference to the kind of a question that you can ask or you ask otherwise in the classroom. Okay, so it's very important to link that RBT or what we call revised Bloom taxonomy to the skill of questioning, and it plays a very important role. And how it plays a very important role, we will see in the upcoming slides. Now here, under lower order cognitive questions, in this particular category, if you see, the fourth point I have written it as closed questions, and for higher order cognitive question, I have written here as open questions. Okay, what are closed questions and what are open questions? If any one of you could answer. Yes, Vaisi has already asked me the same question. Okay, I'll answer that provided if any one of you, yes. Only one single response. NPI is saying that those questions are those which have only one single response. What about others? You can talk about open questions as well, or both. Okay, many correct responses. Okay, a very important topic. Anyone else? Even if it is the same answer, you can choose to reply because I know that you are making an attempt at least. Open questions. Elizabeth is saying that I have many multiple responses. Very good. Can others reply? Okay. Closed questions have unique answers. Okay. Correct. So more or less, we have a very good understanding of what are closed questions and what are open questions. Yes. Who is this Gurja Dhira? Whose account are you using? Which student is this Vaibhavi? Okay. So open questions can have answers depending on how a student analyzes data. Okay, and respond. Okay, many answers. Fine, that's okay. Correct. So from the answers that you all have given, I have understood that you all know in a very good manner about closed questions and open questions. So if just to repeat what you all have already said. I would say that closed questions are those which will expect a particular kind of a response from a student. Okay, like what is the capital of India? What's the capital of United States? Like that. So it has a specific response, a single correct answer. Okay, and open questions are those which can have many correct responses. This is very important. Correct responses. Okay, there is no answer. There is, let's say, suppose if I'm asking a question like, what are your opinions about the current political system or the current GDP growth of our country? What is your opinion about that? Or maybe if you're asking a question which requires the writer's opinion, if it requires writer's perspective, that no answer to the question can be incorrect. Okay, it can have all the answers that are being provided for a given question, which is an open question, can be or not can be, they all are correct answers because the question is framed in such a way which would expect different kinds of responses or diverse responses. Isn't it? A plethora of responses would be expected. More diverse the answer is, more better it is. Isn't it? So the analysis or the evaluation of both the kind of questions or the answers to the questions would be different. So now, is this clear to everybody so far? Lower order questions and higher order questions, so that we can go ahead. Because in the upcoming slides, we are going to see what kind of questions and how we can frame these questions as we move from lower order to higher order. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. So we'll move ahead. Now, according to RBT, this RBT is Revised Bloom's Taxonomy. Okay, so according to RBT, questions are classified as follows. The first one is remembering. So questions at remembering level are used to test students' ability, okay, of recalling and recognizing previously learned material. Okay, so you need to make it sure. Just a minute, I'll do one setting here. Okay. Okay, can you see the red color? Okay. Oh, no, it's not visible. Okay. Can you all see the mouse moving? Can you figure out the mouse here on the screen? Yeah, the arrow. Okay, yes. Okay, so questions at remembering level are used to test students' ability of recalling and recognizing previously learned material. So recalling and recognizing. So it is related to something called factual knowledge. So we are discussing about factual knowledge. So if a question is asked at remembering level, which is a lower order level or lower order cognitive level, the question would expect the student or the respondent to answer, or maybe or to the student to recall in a way or recognize a given uh, item of study. So say suppose if I'm asking a question to define, or I'm asking a student to define photosynthesis. So what a student is doing, a student is recalling the previously learned, the definition which a student has learned, a student is trying to recall. Okay, or if you to give an example of recognizing, if say suppose you're having a practical exam, your science students, or you must have gone through it. Then for your practical exams, what they used to do is, mostly in the colleges even, they keep those slides under the microscope during the practicals, isn't it? Final practical, and you all have to go through, see through it, and identify which, what is that slide, whether it is a fluorine, xylem, what it is, which part of the plant, or which part of the animal, which animal it is, or which microorganism it is. We had to identify such things. So we are basically recognizing a given item or a given object or given concept using our recognizing ability. So it is somewhat related to the knowledge that we have already learned or the information that we already possess. Okay, so it is remembering. So recalling and recognizing are two important terms here, which you cannot omit while you are answering this question. Okay, so it is in a way factual knowledge. Now this was about remembering. Now in recall time, again some examples are being given here. Recall time, which is the respiratory organ of fish. Okay, this is a recall. It's a recall type of a question because the student has already learned it and they just have to recall what they have learned or what is being told to them. Now, define photosynthesis, as I already said. Which instrument is used to see microorganisms? Okay, so they know. These are certain things which they already know and they would like to recall it. That's it. What is the composition of air? Something which is already learned, they have to recall and say. Make a list of aquatic plants. So they know which are the aquatic plants available or they have already learned about it. So they are making use of it. Making use of that information that they possess and they are answering that question in a recall type, which is again a remembering type of a question of lower order cognitive scale. Okay. So now recognition type. Pick whether the following statements are true or false. Okay. I think with these questions you would get a better idea of what kind of questions I'm talking about. Human beings are carnivorous organisms. Chlorophyll is a pigment present in plants that help to throw out carbon dioxide. Green plants absorb carbon dioxide during daytime. Okay, and penguins are native to Antarctica. Okay, so these are the statements which you have to mark either true or false. Okay, this is a recognition type of a question. So this was about remembering. When we saw recall and recognition type of a question, what kind of a questions we could ask if we are discussing, if we expect a student to recall any knowledge that is being already acquired. If I want to ask recognition type of a question, which are it may not be always true or false. There are various types of questions that you can ask in recognition type, like some of us have already discussed. Okay, so now let us go to another level, that is understanding. Am I going too fast? Is the speed okay? Because these examples are simple and I hope that you all are making sense of it. Am I going too fast? If yes, please be honest enough to say so because my idea is to transact it properly. Am I going too fast, students? Okay, fine. Okay, this is speed is fine. Okay. So let us see the second aspect, that is understanding, or the second level of revised Bloom taxonomy. Now, what kind of a questions do we ask at understanding level? So, questions at understanding level are used to test students' ability of grasping meaning of materials. Okay, meaning of materials. Again, important part of the statement. They have learned, okay, meaning which they have learned and using it in their own words. Okay, so if we have to define understanding or something called as comprehension, uh, comprehending, okay, how we would define it? Okay, there are various quotes, there are various statements which are made. Okay, so when can I know that I have understood a particular concept? Okay, only when I'm able to put it in my own words. Okay, if I've understood what is questioning, if I've understood what is, how it is used, where it can be used, what are the types of questions that I can ask, in which categories can I distinguish both these questions. Okay, this entire concept or this entire schema, if I have it with me, or if I have understood it, I should be able to transact it in my own words. I should be able to explain it to someone else in my own words. Then only I can be assured or I am sure enough that I have understood it well. Okay. So such questions of understanding level would would test students' ability, how much able they are to grasp the meaning of what is being taught in the classroom. It can be anything, it may not be a material, it can be a concept, an abstract concept, okay, or a concrete concept of an object, anything for that matter. Okay, I think this much Must be clear. Now, in understanding, the questions are to see whether students can transmit information from one form to another. That's what we just discussed. Whether you can transact it in a different form, isn't it? When you're able to do that, uh, it shows that you have understood it so well that you can present it the way you want, isn't it? This is true for everything. If I know how to cook a particular dish, okay, I can make experiments with it. But in the first place, if I don't know how to prepare it or if I have not understood the concept at all, neither I can explain or neither I can make sense of it, nor I can explain it to anybody. Okay. Now, examples are given here, like distinguish between carnivores and herbivores and give examples. Give is not the right term, cite examples of each. Okay. Illustrate the working of an electric circuit. Explain the process of photosynthesis. See, the same question is asked. Earlier, the question in remembering was asked as define photosynthesis. Here it is explain. So when you use the term explain, these are very important terms. Okay. I hope you all are having. These are the action verbs. Are you all aware of what are action verbs? Yes. You can reply in the chat box. Are you all aware what are action verbs? Okay. Put your names down. Some of them. This was done in the first year. I remember I had given you all a chart. If not, I'll share it with you all. If you all don't have it. Anyone? Any examples of action verbs? Apart from the ones which have been presented here? Okay. Could you define action verb? Is it possible to define action verb in your own words? Okay, you can type in the meanwhile. You can go ahead. Then give reasons for the following. Okay, like we should use conventional sources of energy. So giving a reason, yes, okay, Bhagyashree is saying we present. Okay. While giving a reason also, if you have to reason out something or if you have to reason out a particular process or a particular concept, in order to reason something, you need to understand it first. Okay, so if you are able to reason out, that means you have understood it well. So because that shows that you are thinking about it in a deeper manner. Okay, without understanding a basic thing, you cannot go ahead to the better part of it, isn't it? And mackerel cannot survive on land. So why? When you ask, give a reason why they cannot survive on land. Okay, because you understand that they cannot live without water. Neither they can not, and they cannot live outside the water. Why they cannot live outside the water? So all these concepts, the questions are related to the answer that you would give for this particular question. Now, fifth one is explain the causes of precipitation of energy in a mechanical device. Okay, like these questions which are making you understand how much they have understood the concept are understanding level of questions, and they are lower order questions. Okay, so you need to know where, how, when, at what time you are supposed to use which type of questions, isn't it? Now, the third one is applying or application in a way. Questions at applying level are used to test students' ability to use learned material in a new or a complex situation. So we know what is application. We know that the ability to apply something somewhere is about using the knowledge that you have about a concept and making use of it in a different situation, which will help you combat that particular difficulty or it will help you come out of that difficulty, isn't it? So there are various questions. So questions at this level could be framed in such a way that they test the ability of the learner to use learned material in a new and a complex situation. Okay, same thing. For example, what will be the impact of air vehicular pollution on the quality of the air by the year 2025? Okay, so we are basically making use of your concept of vehicular pollution, okay, and its impact on the quality of air. You're making use of this knowledge in a situation, okay, and you're trying to maybe imagine what would be the situation in the year 2025 after 5 years from today. What situation it is going to be? What kind of air we will be breathing in? Isn't it? What situation will prevail outside? So you're applying your knowledge or giving reasons like most birds make their nest under trees and not in shrubs. Why so? You're applying. You can easily pluck peas from its plant, but not a coconut from its tree, isn't it? Third one, the last one says that Rahul bends forwards while studying. What would happen if his back? What would happen to his back after a while? What should he do? Isn't it? You're applying a knowledge or an area or a domain of a knowledge somewhere else in a newer situation. That's why it is called applying. Okay, so you need to know when you ask a question to a student, you need to know from which category or what type of question you have asked and whether it is serving the purpose or not, whether it is helping you to achieve the objective that you have set in the beginning of your lesson or not. Okay? So this is very important. So I think we are done. I think it's already 10:45. I'm just live. So what time were we supposed to stop? I think 10:45, right? 10:45, isn't it? Okay. It's already 10:44. We have only a minute to go. So we are to the three lower order cognitive questions. Okay, if you have any queries regarding these three categories, and we have one more class at 2, so we can continue at 2 o'clock today. So if you have any queries regarding the three, you can please questions in the chat box, or if not, you can sit down and think about some questions and ask me maybe at 2 o'clock when we'll be meeting for the second time. Till now, is this clear to everybody? So today we have seen what kind of a questions uh, we can, or how we can distinguish questions into two categories. Which are those categories? Lower order cognitive skill and higher order cognitive question, isn't it? And what are the types of it? And some examples we have seen. Is it clear, everyone? Okay.